You go, I go, you stay, I stay. One song to sing.
What's up, guys? So I got a Snap question. It was, if you guys aren't following me on Snap, do that. I include a lot of like in between YouTube, like just smaller, quicker stuff that I can put up on Snapchat. The online coach is my Snap, so follow me if you're not already. But anyways, I got a question from somebody asking, what do I do if I'm cutting and I steer away from my macros? If I pretty much a unplanned cheat day, you know, going over your macros. It happens to all of us, guys. You know, we can't stay perfect throughout our whole cut. It happens. I mean, I do it, but I plan it. If I know I feel crappy, low on energy, I'm just having cravings, I'll have a day where I don't count, because a lot of the times I'm not in contest prep, or I don't do contest prep anymore, so I'm never on a time crunch. What do you do if you accidentally go over your macros, you cheat? What do you do the next day? My advice is, don't stress it too much. You know, you should feel a little bit bad because you cheated, you expended, you know, your macros, you went over, but there's no reason to stress and beat yourself up about it. Do like double the cardio the next day, or decrease your macros. Those you can do those things, but I wouldn't stress it too much. Doing it one time won't kill you. It won't do that much damage. I'm just gonna be honest with you. If anything, you're gonna feel really good in the gym the next couple days, but you got to utilize those extra calories. I myself, when that happens, I don't do extra cardio. I don't decrease my macros. I just get back on it. I feel good the next couple days, a little boost in leptin. Don't stress it. Just get back on your macros. Don't make it a habit, okay? That's when it becomes a problem, when you're doing it 1, 2, 3 times a week, and you're like, okay, I'm just going to get back on it tomorrow. You keep telling yourself, I'm going to get back on my macros, but you don't. That's when it becomes a problem, because in reality, it's your weekly totals, your weekly numbers that make a difference. So one day is not going to make that big of a deal. It's not going to be that big of a deal. Just like one day of dieting is not going to get you lean. So one day of going over your macros is not going to, it's not suicide, guys. So don't beat yourself up about it. Just get back on your macros. Utilize those extra calories and kill your workout the next couple days. I want to talk about body types, guys. So there's 3 body types, if you guys don't know this already. You got the ectomorph, mesomorph, endomorph. Ectomorph, more of a, you know, a thinner build, hard to put on muscle, most likely a fast metabolism. You got the mesomorph right in the middle, more considered like an athletic build, able to put on muscle pretty easily, and just probably a middle, in the middle metabolism type. And then you got the endomorph, more of a husky, bulkier build. That's that body type puts on body fat a little bit easier. So more of like a huskier build, right? So I want to show you guys Tankster's physique. I want to talk about just his physique type and kind of just a physique update also. So Tankster is more of an endomorph naturally. That's his genetics, that's his family. I would be a mesomorph. I'm right in the middle. You know, I was never really this thin when I was younger, but I was a lot smaller. And I would probably categorize myself as a mesomorph. So this is Tankster's physique currently. What are you weighing right now?
Around 163.
So like I said, he's more of an endomorph. As you can see, his body fat, he holds his body fat pretty even. which, body fat it's going to be different for each person. But I would like to say it's pretty even throughout his whole body. So he doesn't store it like all in his arms or his stomach. I mean, males in general, we'll store it around our midsection, our core area. And then women, it's more their hips, their glutes, their lower body. Tanks are reversed nice and slow, I think about 8 weeks. So we did the right way.
Yeah.
And he's in a good place to build muscle. He's at the point where his weight's not climbing anymore. And his body's just at his set point. This is his natural genetic set point. I mean, this is where his body likes to be. And that's what you guys got to remember. Everyone has a different body type. You're going to store body fat in different places. You can't compare yourself to another person, especially because that person's just going to have different genetics, different body type. But at the end of the day, I believe everybody should be training the same way regarding, progressive overload, being a surplus, a deficit. It gets pretty basic. There's not anybody that's special. It's just everybody's going to have a different maintenance. Everyone's going to have a different expenditure based on your activity, your body. What is up, guys? Thought I would commentate over this pull day footage that we have right here. I also got my boy Tankster here.
How's it going, guys?
He's going to chime in to this commentary. And I also wanted to just touch on a topic that was in my head today. It's muscle building. Building muscle. Okay, so building muscle, in my opinion, is a lot tougher than cutting, shredding, getting, your body fat down. With muscle, it's a tough thing. Think about it. You got to build tissue. You have to build tissue that your body didn't have before. When you're cutting, all you're doing is, expending energy, taking in less food, taking in less energy than you're eating, right?
Exactly.
Muscle building takes a lot more effort. It takes a lot more work. It takes a lot more time. And it just doesn't come overnight. But anyways, you saw Penlay row. We started off with Penlay row. I think that is going to be our bread and butter movement for pull days. What was our rep range?
15 reps.
Oh, yeah. We shot for 3 sets of 15 reps.
Yeah.
And that was a good amount of weight for me, 185. I actually made Tung hit the same weight. See, with Tung, our schedules are different, so he doesn't get to train with me and Tankster very often, but when he does, he asks for the push. He likes training with us because we push him. And I've always been that way with him. He's always kind of downplayed his strength and kind of just didn't really believe in himself. I can read how strong he is. I can read how, his ability to move weight based on his form and his intensity. And his intensity is always just a little bit lower than his full capability. So he likes training with us. He likes getting pushed.
Earlier you saw my machine row. My chest was coming off the seat, and that means it's too heavy.
Yeah, he was kind of jerking. He was kind of throwing in his body a little bit too much, and the whole point of having that support right there is kind of just
the quality of the rep.
Stay stationary, and that's another thing I wanted to talk about on that clip of me doing it. I really focus on keeping thoracic extension and then driving with my elbows, getting my elbows as far back as possible. And if I can't pull it that far back and I can't keep that thoracic extension, I will lower the weight. And it's the same thing with this movement right here, what is this called? The landmine row.
Landmine single arm T-bar row.
Yeah. We like to come down and be almost horizontal with the floor, I guess, like I am right now. I'm not, parallel to it, but I'm pretty horizontal. Would you say so?
Yeah.
And I feel like I can get more of a range of motion and I can get a good squeeze. Like everything today, I think we're all doing like a 12 to 15 rep range, 3 to 4 sets. That's just to tell you that right off the bat. But anyways, back to building muscle. So building muscle, it takes time, guys. And this generation of bodybuilders and kids, it's all about aesthetics and
Shreds.
being shredded and having abs. And, you know, in my opinion, it's like, I've always thought, like, you can't be aesthetic, you can't have a respectable physique unless you have a good amount of muscle. And that takes time. It takes years. And people don't understand that it doesn't come over a year or 2 years. It takes time, guys. I am 32 years old. I've been messing with weight since I was 15 years old. And I stayed in a surplus majority of the time. I didn't care about abs. I didn't care about getting lean. I just wanted to get strong. I wanted to get bigger. And I was lucky enough to always have a big appetite. A fat kid at heart. Like, I can kill food. Regardless if I'm cutting, bulking, like, I love food. So I never really tracked my macros or tracked my calories back in the day. I would just make sure I was never hungry. And protein-wise, I never even really tracked my protein. I thought protein shakes were magical. So I did like 2 to 3 like servings of protein every day when I could afford it. So what I'm trying to say is be patient. Building muscle, building a physique, it takes time. It takes years. So don't get too overly excited and, like, you know, trying to cut and trying to get shredded when you've only been training for a year or 2 years.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. Like, I never really had that mentality of being shredded. I always wanted to get bigger since I was that little skinny guy in high school. But, yeah, just rather be bigger than shredded.
Yeah, and I've instilled I've further instilled that mentality in a tankster when we first started, you know, hanging out, training together. It's like, man, if you want to put on muscle, you got to put in the years, you got to put in the time, the work, the effort, and you have to stay in a surplus.
Exactly.
So when we first started, I had him cut 1 time, 2 times. You've done 2 cuts, and that was just to bring down his body fat. Like, when I first took him under my wing, he was like a fluffy 170.
Yeah.
He was just dirty bulking, just counting calories, just eating a ton and not really focused on building strength. So, yeah.
I'm still continuing on this journey. Like, it's going to be a long journey, I can tell. Like, it's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah. You're only 22, man.
Exactly.
I did not cut until I was about 26. I prepped for my first NPC bodybuilding show. I was 26 years old, and I've been training since I was like 15. I was in a forever bulk, forever surplus. And when I was cutting for my first show, I still didn't believe I was big enough. I still wanted to put on more size. And after those years, or after I cut down to like stage condition, I was like, wow, I'm holding a pretty decent amount of muscle, and I'm pretty symmetrical. That's another thing, is focus on being, you know, balanced, grounded with your physique. You don't want to leave any stones unturned. You want to hit everything. Don't just hit your chest and your arms, because that's what I did in high school, and it wasn't the right way to go. After high school, that's when I met more bodybuilders, more people that train, and we were just, you know, had the same mentality. And I would always get crap for not hitting my legs, like, and that kind of pushed me to hit my legs. I didn't want to be that guy with no legs and just a big upper body.
Yeah, and then also, since I'm at the prime of my muscle building years, I believe it's from the age of 15 to, what would you say?
Like 25.
Yeah, so take your time. Use that prime years to build rather than cut.
Yeah, because your testosterone is your free testosterone is like pretty high between like 20 to 25, and that's the best time to start, you know, to build muscle. When you get to my age, like 30 to 30s, your natural test production starts to slow down, starts to diminish. But that doesn't mean I can't still make gains, and that's where I'm at now. I'm back in a surplus, trying to get my body in a better place, hormonally, physically, mentally, and I'm starting to feel that way. This past week, it's like I've been on another level, and it feels great. I forgot how good it felt to feel good when I'm training. Now I'm going to be chasing those gains. So guys, the gains are coming.
The gains are coming.
Tankster, are you ready?
Yep.
Tankster's not even used to me being like fired up. Like, how fired up was I today?
Pretty damn fired.
Fired up, guys. So my advice to my youngins on following the channel is take your time, especially if you're in the teens. Don't even think about cutting unless your body fat is at a unhealthy place, unless you're obese, okay? But if your body fat is in a good place, just think building. Plant those seeds so when you are 25, 30, you have a respectable, impressive physique to show. I just inhaled my Waba Grill plate. I did not get avocado today. I wanted to save some fats for later on tonight. I want some ice cream. Anyways, got a package here from Gym Bag. Let's unbox it. They sent us some stuff a while back. I guess something was missing. So they're going to send us another box. 2 boxes. 2 boxes in a box. So I'm pretty sure they're the same contents inside each one. So we'll open up one. Ooh. The Protein Bakery. Black and white brownie. That looks delicious. It's a fat on it. 11 grams of fat. Not too bad. It looks pretty voluminous. It's like a brick. Feels pretty soft. Creade by RSP. Protein drink. Coconut water and protein. 20 grams of protein. 1 fat. 7 carbs. Definitely fit that in these days. Mutant protein. 2.5 fat, 5 carb, 25 protein. You guys know I'm not much of a protein drinker, but usually, another one. Usually, like deeper in my surplus, my appetite starts to go away, and sometimes I slack on protein. And that's when I'll throw in like maybe a shake with like 1 to 2 scoops of protein to get that protein in. This one looks good too. 14 grams of protein, 10 fat. It's pretty cool. Ooh. Peanut spread. Chocolate chip protein peanut spread. Macros are pretty standard. Tanks are gonna go to town on that. Ooh, Combat Crunch Bar, MP, Muscle Farm. Oh, I remember these. These are big boys. I remember these when I used to work at Vitamin Shop. Metrics or MedRx. Pretty old school here. Peanut butter pretzel. It's always nice to have bars, snacks, while you're on the go. Especially for you.
Yeah.
School. Alright, so I'm pretty sure same stuff in the other one, but I'll have tanks for open that. Thank you, Gym Bag. And guys, check them out. Check out their Instagram.
You go, I go, you stay, I say, one song to sing.